The bitches are back! Queen Regina George is meaner than ever in this new Mean Girls musical reboot. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Here we review and highlight content featuring female lead characters. All about women, all made for or by women. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. March is Women's History Month, and today we're talking about Mean Girls, the new remake. Written by Tina Fey and inspired by the book Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman. This remake was directed by Samantha Jane and Arturo Perez Jr. Okay, let's get started. Cady Heron, a new student, finds herself in the company of the school's elite, the popular girls known as the Plastics, led by their queen Regina George, played by the very talented Rapp, and her minions, Gretchen and Karen, played by Baby Wood and Avantika respectively. But when Cady falls for Regina's ex-boyfriend Aaron, she doesn't immediately realise that she's made a big mistake. Her new friend is soon to turn enemy. Cady then decides to overthrow the established order with the help of her new loser friends, Damien and Janice, played respectively by Jaquel Spivey and Auli Cravalho. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Auli Cravalho, who you may know from the Hulu film Crush or the Disney film Moana. In this musical twist of the 2004 movie, Tina Fey also reprises her role as teacher Mrs. Noble. Tim Meadows reprises his role as principal, and Lindsay Lohan makes an appearance as the host of a mathletes competition. If you've seen the 2004 film, you'll be delighted as this one is full of fun references to the original. To be honest, I have to admit that I've never been very confident about this so-called reboot. So when I went to see this new Mean Girls, I knew it was impossible to dethrone the original. But the script writers were clever enough to modernise the story by offering new perspectives linked to the new generation, such as the use and addition of references to social media and the use of smartphones, even if this is sometimes done without much originality. But it remains faithful to the theme of the first film. For me, the musical scenes, dancing and singing, don't add much, mainly because the songs don't add anything to the movie. It would still be the same movie with or without them. Even though I really liked some of the songs, especially the I Rather Be Me song, which actually comes from the Broadway adaptation of the book. Okay, let's take a closer look. I found out it sometimes lacks the creativity and originality of the first film, mainly because some of the scenes are downright awkward. Although there are plenty of ideas for renewing the ensemble by bringing in the current generation to the table, I found myself thinking perhaps it would have been better if they had made a real sequel with new or other characters without rehashing the plot of the original. This reboot mostly recycles the jokes from the first one and relies a little too much on elements we've already seen. I will say 90% of the script and dialogue are based on the 2004's movie. Here is the lack of originality. Okay, there are some surprises, but not enough for my taste. I also really loved some of the transitions they used to move from one scene to another. But it sometimes felt like they treated this movie as an assembly of video clips with long transitions between each clip. It can be fun in theory, but in practice, it mostly feels like a collection of ideas patched together to make a story. Don't get me wrong, I really like those moments, the atmosphere of each clip, the lyrics and choreography. But they were so frequent that at a certain point, they just completely pulled me out of the film, and it took me a while to get back in again. Nevertheless, they added two new aspects. Firstly, the songs they added since it's a musical. Secondly, the most dubious jokes about weight or race were eliminated, And unsurprisingly, the characters are more queer, and the diversity of origins, sexual orientations, and bodies are better represented. For me, because I really enjoyed the song, I will say they were the ups of the movie, and maybe the only original thing in it. There's a touch of kitsch that gives the film a parodic edge and mocks the characters a little. The critical eye is obvious. As for political correctness, if the boxes are ticked, it also smooths out the message, even though it would have been nice to see some real risk-taking and more innovation. As for whether the stereotypes highlighted make the film sexist or deeply feminist, or whether the heroines of this teen movie are cruel bitches to be eliminated or models of female empowerment, I will only say the debate is open. To conclude, I would say, as a fan of the original, it was really pleasant to see Lindsay Lohan cameo. But I must point out that I find this movie to be mostly a strange collection of weird and sometimes funny ideas that rely a little too much on our nostalgia. The movie is fun to watch, but to fully enjoy it, first watch the 2004 Mean Girls movie. Mean Girls is currently showing in theatres. Did you watch it? Tell me what you thought in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other videos on the channel.